Hello and welcome to Woolen Works. Today we're going to be learning how to cast on for your knitting projects. We're going to be covering 4 different methods, which are the wrap, knit, cable and long tail cast on method. If you haven't already, go and watch my slip knot tutorial as we'll be using that today. Once you're done, meet me back here and we'll learn how to cast on for your knitting. For this tutorial, you're going to need your ball of yarn and a pair of knitting needles. Find the tail end of your yarn, and once you've done that, make a slip knot towards the end. You want to leave enough to weave in later, so I like to leave maybe about 20 centimeters and then make my slip knot. Insert your needle into the slip knot and pull it tight. First method I'm going to show you is called the wraparound method. Now to do that, you want to leave the tail and grab the working end of our yarn in our hand like so. We're then going to wrap it around our thumb like this. So I'll show that again. Hold the working yarn across your hand like so, and then wrap it around your thumb. With your left hand needle, you're then going to touch the bottom of your thumb and scrape upwards, picking up that loop as you go. And then pull it tight. You don't need to pull it very hard, but just enough so that it can still slide along the needle. So once again, hold the working yarn in your palm and wrap it around your thumb. From the base of your thumb, push upwards, picking up that loop, and pull tight. Wrap around, push upwards, picking up the loop, and pull tight. And as you can see, we've cast on 4 stitches using the wraparound method. And you can cast on as many stitches as you like this way. For the knit method, again, make your slip knot, insert your needle, and pull the slip knot tight. You're going to need 2 needles for this tutorial, and the one with your slip knot, hold it in your left hand. We're going to take our right hand needle, and from the left hand side of this slip knot, we're going to insert and push through to the back. Show that again. So from the left hand side of the slip knot, you're going to pick up this front loop, insert and make a cross with your needles. You're then going to take the working yarn, wrap it around your right hand needle, like so. I'll show that again. So you're going to wrap around the needle like so. Then pick up that wrapped yarn and pull up a loop. Now we're going to pretend this is our thumb like we did with the wraparound method. So you'll take your left hand needle, scrape it from the bottom to the top and pick up this loop on the way and pull tight. Do that again. So insert your needle from the left through to the back. With your working yarn, wrap it around from the back to the front of your right hand needle so it'll sit in between your 2 needles. Slide your right hand needle down to pick up that working yarn and pull up a loop. Now pretending this is your thumb, push from the bottom to the top and pick up this loop on the way and pull tight. We'll do this one again as there's a few steps. So insert your needle from the left, picking up that front loop and push through to the back. With your working yarn, wrap around the back of your right hand needle so that the yarn sits in between your 2 needles. Lift up that working yarn and pull up a loop. And with your left hand needle, scrape from the bottom to the top, picking up the loop on the way and pull tight. And this creates the knit cast on stitch. for the cable method, tie a slip knot, insert your needle, and we're going to cast on one stitch using the knit method. So that's where we go in through the left hand side of the slip knot, wrap the working yarn around, pull up a loop, scrape down and pick up that loop, and pull tight. Now make sure you keep this nice and loose, is because for the cable method we're actually going to go in between these two stitches into that small triangle there. So you're going to insert your right hand needle in between both stitches. I'll show that again. So insert your needle between those stitches. Then, similar to the knit method, wrap your yarn around your right hand needle so it sits in between your two needles. Pick up that loop and scrape down, pick up that loop, and don't pull too tight, because for the next stitch we need to insert our needle in between those two stitches. It's really important to stay loose with this one, because if you do pull too tight you won't be able to insert your hook for your next stitch. So we insert our hook, grab the working yarn and wrap around the back to the front of our back needle so it sits, the yarn should sit between your two needles. Pick up that loop from the bottom to the top, pick up the loop and pull it a little bit but not too tight. Again, insert your needle between two stitches, wrap your yarn around from the back to the front, pick up the wrapped yarn, pull up a loop and put that loop onto your left needle. That's the cable method. It makes quite a nice edge, it's just really important to keep it loose. Now we're going to do the long tail cast on method. For this method you need to estimate roughly how much yarn you're going to need for your cast on stitches. A good trick to do this is to leave however much you want for your tail and then wrap the yarn around your needle for how many stitches you want to cast on. So for us today we're going to cast on, let's say 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's how much yarn it will take up for us to do our cast on. So if we make our slip knot here plus our tail, we'll have more than enough yarn. Make your slip knot, insert your needle and pull the slip knot tight. Now for this one you actually only need one needle, and you're going to use this long tail that we've created to cast on your stitches. Grab the tail yarn this time in your hand like so and wrap it around your thumb. I'll do that again. So the tail, hold it in your palm and wrap it around your thumb. Similar to how we did the wrap around cast on method, but this time it's going to be with your left hand. So again, grab the tail in your palm and wrap around your thumb. You're then going to, with your right hand needle this time, scrape from the bottom to the top of your thumb, picking up this loop. But rather than just pulling tight, you're actually going to grab the working yarn and wrap it around this needle like you would when you're doing the knit cast on. Then with this loop we've created, we lift it over the top and pull tight. Do that again. So hold in your palm, wrap the yarn around your thumb. Pick up that loop, wrap the working yarn around your right hand needle, or your only needle, and with this loop, lift it up and over the top of your needle and pull tight. We'll do this one a few times, this one also has quite a few steps. Hold the tail in your palm and wrap it around your thumb. Take your needle and pick up that loop. wrap the working yarn around the needle and then lift the loop up and over your needle and pull tight. I'll do it one more time and then we'll have our 5 cast on stitches. Grab the yarn, wrap around your thumb, scrape and pick up that loop, wrap the working yarn around the back to the front of the needle, lift up the loop up and over your needle and pull. As you can see, the long tail cast on method makes quite a neat edge on both sides. So here you can see I've cast on the 4 different types that we've learnt today with a few rows of garter stitch just so you can compare them. So first we have the wraparound method. It's probably important to note that I did use a bigger needle than was recommended for this wool just to really open up those stitches and show you the difference between the types. So it may not look this loose when you do it yourself. So here you can see the wraparound method. It is quite loopy, I guess, and it's actually not a bad detail, and this could be handy if you're doing tassels or something like that, as it gives you some gaps to feed your tassels through. Then we've got the knit method. So I find this one creates these holes, which I personally don't really like. I find on sweaters it leaves a big, kind of a gaping hole at the bottom. So I personally don't use this method a lot. The next one is the cable method, and this one gives a nice kind of twirled edge, and you can see it's quite straight. So I do like this method. And finally the long tail cast on, and this one also gives a really straight, nice edge. So this one's probably my go-to, but if you're looking for something a little bit more decorative, the cable's probably similar edge to the long tail, but just got a nicer edge to it with that twirl. So if you're looking for something to give straight edges and kind of nice right angled corners, I'd go with the cable or long tail cast on method. But if you're a beginner just getting started, I would definitely do the wraparound and knit method, as they're really great ones to introduce you. I used the knit method for years because that was just what I was taught when I first started. So there's nothing wrong with it, and they're quite easy to get used to. It's also good to practice your knit stitch on. So there you have it. Here's our 4 different methods of stitches: the wrap, knit, cable and long tail cast on. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you learnt something new today, please like and subscribe so you don't miss out on my future tutorials. Thank you.